Hello there, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Defend Your Movie. This is Sean Donnelly. I am indisposed at the moment, so we're going to do a best of episode this week with one of our favorite ones, and actually the one that started it off. It was Dan Soder defending Cocktail, and we were still in our baby stages of the podcast, and me and Dan, we were talking about it, but barely remembered it, so then we ended up going to his house and watching it, so you'll have a lot of content in this one. You have us talking about the movie, and then you have us literally watching the movie and goofing on it as we go. So please enjoy, and me and Farrah will see you next week. We apologize that it's a rerun, but enjoy the Dan Soder episode. Goodbye.
In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your movie.
As far as shower arguments,
We're going to record them.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I have like these fake arguments that lead to real feelings,
Yeah.
and so like in our
That's like a woman getting mad about having a dream that you fucking around on.
yeah, I was raised by a woman, dude. So I have the temper of a man with the psychosis of a woman.
Yeah,
So
right.
I'm just like, but you,
The emotional level of a tranny.
yeah, dude, I'm like just taking a bunch of chems and going nuts.
I know what you mean, though. I know that situation.
So in my head, you were going to come out to the living room and go like, dude, we ran out of time. Can you do the podcast another day?
Oh,
that was in my head.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I fucking rushed here. And I was coming with my comeback of like,
No.
I'm going to get him with this point. And then I was like, and then you came out and you're like, yeah, my buddy Sean.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's why the internet's bad, because you don't see, like, you don't have the reveal of you coming in the room. Like, you walking in the room, I'm like, oh, hey, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm kind of upset, but in a crazy way.
When you're confronted, but once you see something in person, it does take that anxiety down.
You're like, they're a human.
They're human.
You talk to them.
That's what I said about when the whole Trump thing was going on. We're not going to get political, but I mean, I said to Trump, like, with the whole, not to Trump, hang out with him.
That'd be great.
With the whole Muslim ban thing, they were like, he's going to do this Muslim ban. I'm like, no, he's not. You know what? You want to get rid of the Muslim ban? Have him have to tell 3 of them to their face that's going to happen. Because
I don't know.
A guy
Maybe
like
he's
that,
a guy that could do it, though.
I don't know. I don't think he could.
But not a...
No, everybody he meets in this past year, he's been like, when he met Obama, you know how much he railed against Obama?
Yeah.
He said he wasn't even a fucking citizen. Yeah. And then he met him, he's like, you know what? He's a pretty good guy.
Good guy.
He has that thing where he
So basically you're telling me he's every girlfriend's brother when you first meet him?
Yeah, pretty much.
Better not break your heart, Emily. I'll fucking kill him. You meet him, you're like, you know what? He's a good dude. I like him. That's Trump.
Exactly it. That's exactly
everybody.
it. But you're right, because the internet it's out there.
Well, it's anonymous. You just
It's anonymous.
If you had to put your name up.
If you had to put your name up, oh, you mean as far as
Like
comments,
real
and stuff, your
name.
real name? Oh my God! People always wonder, who are these people that
That's why
are commenting? Yeah.
South Park was genius when they came up with that troll thing this season.
I didn't even see it.
Oh, it's fucking one of their best seasons. It's unbelievable.
They're so good.
But we're not here about good.
We're not.
I love this idea for a podcast.
You do? Yeah. I am here. We started recording like Pete Holmes style. Yeah. I'm here with my friend Dan Soder, everybody. Hey. Welcome to Defend Your Movie. This is actually going to be our first episode out. You were going to do the honors of being the first guest of the podcast. I'm going to explain it real quick. The podcast, I did a friend of mine's movie podcast, Pat Stango. I don't know if you know Pat. Okay. They have a movie podcast called How to Watch Movies Right. I think they have like about 4 or 5 listeners a week. Just kidding. So anyway, I did their movie podcast. We went to go see 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I so loved it that I was like, I have to do a movie podcast.
Oh, you were inspired.
I was inspired.
Did you get those glasses right after you saw the movie? Those are like your film critic glasses.
No, these are I'm starting to not be able to see in regular life glasses, so I have to wear them.
But I like it. It does look like...
Doesn't it look like, this is movie Sean?
Yeah, this is movie critic Sean.
This is Leonard Maltin me.
Yeah, you go,
the shots!
I didn't like most of the shots. You just start getting real in. The way it was scored. You're like, what, Sean?
No, so basically, real quick, the movie podcast is Defend Your Movie. I have a friend of mine, either a comic or another friend, to talk and to defend a movie that they love and most other people hate or that might have bombed, or usually the universe is like, this sucks. Yeah. And my guest, like I said this week, is Dan Soder. The movie we're going to do this week is a biggie, so we should probably jump into it, I would say.
It's got a lot of talent.
It's got a lot of talent, and it's a big one. It's probably been done on the movie podcast before, but not with my friend and hilarious comic and also star of Billions.
No, co-star down on the call sheet. If we're movie Sean, I can say stuff like call sheet.
Yeah, that's true. What you call it? So basically, the movie we're doing this week is Cocktail, which is a huge Cocktail with Tom Cruise. Because I'll tell you really quickly, when I was looking up clips on my way here, I was looking up clips to watch just to get reminded.
Oh, dude, his speech?
Well, the speech, oh, that's amazing. But not even, we'll talk about that in a second. But I guess there's like an Indian movie called Cocktail. And if you just type in Cocktail, there was a video called Best Scenes from Cocktail, the movie. And I went, oh, great. And I hit it, and it was literally like two Indian people by an ocean talking. And I'm like, I don't remember this.
Where's Tom Cruise?
Where's Tom Cruise? Where's my girl, Elizabeth Shue?
Is this when they're in Jamaica? I don't remember this. Yeah, it's one of those things where because originally the movie I said to you was So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Right.
I was like, I can defend that movie so well because I have before to like family members and friends. But
I like that movie.
But you liked it immediately, so I was like, oh, that's not going to be fun. And then I looked up the worst scoring movies on Rotten Tomatoes, and I saw Cocktail, and I was like, that's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit also. We can talk about that as well.
It's a fun movie.
Here's the thing. When I say defend your movie, there's times I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah.
It's a light defend. I will play devil's advocate, like I told you off mic, they call it. It is bullshit. I'll tell you why, because it's 5% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's shitty.
It's shitty, but you know why? I think it's a mob mentality. Everyone just went to that movie and just started shitting on it.
Oh.
And I think also the reason why it's 5% is because it has so many reviews. Because the movie that we're doing next week on the podcast, we just recorded it, is Gotcha, right? And that had 53% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, well,
so it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's a racket. Rotten Tomatoes is a racket.
Rotten Tomatoes is a racket. We're going to take those big wigs on Rotten Tomatoes.
We're taking down big movie critics. You heard it here.
You bunch of dicks.
This is what happens in the age of Trump. We go after the establishments.
And also, now they've added a new section to Rotten Tomatoes where they have movie reviews and then customer reviews. So literally anybody, it's like Yelp reviews, but for Rotten Tomatoes.
It's too diluted.
But I don't know if that figures into the score. That's the only thing.
That's what sucks about the media now is there's still like if this was, I'm treating Rotten Tomatoes like it's the New York Times film criticism. That's what I looked up immediately. I was like, oh, I'll go to Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't realize that it's just a numbers game. Because Cocktail is a great movie. It's fun. It's got everything.
Okay, this is what I'll start to defend.
It's got Tom Cruise.
It's not a great movie.
Okay,
it's technically
a
bad movie.
Let's be honest. It's a fun movie.
It's fun, but it's the same way as fun as like when you watch Saved by the Bell now. Like where it's fun because it's so bad, it's fun. Is it one of those?
No.
That's going to happen a lot, I think, on this podcast, where it's like the movies that you're enjoying.
It's just very dated.
It's very dated. This is another thing that happens.
That's to say,
if you saw this movie,
I don't think it's like a cinematic classic.
If you saw this movie now for the first time, which technically couldn't happen because it was made in 1988, but if you saw it or came out in 1988, if you saw it now, you'd be like, this is a shitty movie. Like there's movies that are this caliber of movie that they make now that are just terrible. But they don't make movies like this anymore where literally it's a bartending movie.
Well, here's the thing. It feels like it was a script that was written on a lot of cocaine and self-belief. We're like, yeah, a guy could be a bartender. Why would he be a bartender? He'd be like a famous bartender. But it also feels like every divorced dad, like my dad was like a bartender, like an alcoholic bartender, and I feel like that's their Rudy is cocktails. I feel like that's what, like watching Tom Cruise.
Cocktail is their Rudy.
I just feel like that's
my God, that might be one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, because you watch it, like, bartenders are like, dude, that's a narrow walk between fucking dying from the drink. No one gets famous from bartending.
Well,
that's why it's a fun movie.
That's part of my argument why this is a shitty movie, because it's not.
in the scheme of things.
If you watch Jason Bourne, if you watch Bourne Identity, there are agents like that in the world.
Maybe there's bartenders who can give speeches at prison-themed nightclubs.
All right, so basically, to start it off in the movie is like, he's in the army for some reason?
Yeah, he comes home from the army.
He comes home from the army,
home
and
to
the
Queens.
opening scene is them flagging down. It's also stupid because they're using the MP, the military police car, to flag down the bus he's got to take back to New York City.
Which is weird.
Which is really weird because...
But that's 80s, like... Stop the world. It's about this character kind of shit. That was really
absolutely.
big in the 80s, where you just interrupt people.
Yeah,
and they were like, "You're the main character. It's cool." So that's why I'd say it's like, yeah, okay.
So
by the end of this podcast, I'm going to be like, "What a hunk of garbage." Yeah, you're just going to break me down.
Well, that's the thing.
That's what you have. DA glasses on. You're just interrogating me. I'm like, well, maybe that doesn't hold up. But yeah, they stop a bus.
They stop a bus, and then he just gets on it, and he doesn't apologize to the bus. They don't show him like, sorry about that.
Oh, so sorry. I was in the army.
I was in the army. I'm a dick. I was in the army.
I'm a hero.
I'm a hero. Yeah. So, and then he goes down to New York City, and then he wants to go to business school.
Yes,
right?
Just business school.
Just business school. That's how you know it's the 80s as well also. They're just like, I want to be a businessman.
Carry a briefcase and be a man that does a lot of business. Businessman.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, he wants to work at a hedge fund. Hey, he wants to work at a junk bond with junk bonds. It was like the 80s Wall Street type thing.
But also, you got to remember it was made in 88 where no one knew what the fuck Wall Street was. So you could just be like, businessman, and people are like, cool.
Yeah.
He wears a suit.
But they kind of did, because what year was Wall Street? Wasn't that 87 or 80?
Yeah.
I guess Wall Street did kind of teach people what Wall Street was.
Yeah, but he just wanted to go to business school.
He wanted to go to business school, and then he got a job. His night job was bartending, and he went, and it was TGI Fridays. What? No, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, not the TGI Fridays bar. I'm wrong. Anyways.
The other bar?
His uncle's bar.
His uncle's bar is first. He goes to see his uncle.
Yeah, do you know where that bar is?
He's in Rudy. No, what bar? Oh, is it 7A? No, which one is it?
It's the one right by the Creek in the Cave, by the 7 train.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, get out of here. Which bar?
I don't know if it's changed names.
Right across the street from the...
When you get on the 7 to go into the city, or to go back to Queens.
Yeah.
It's the bar right there.
Oh, get out of here.
Fuck, what's it called? I'll find it.
All right, we don't have to. Don't worry about it. But
No, I need to. We cannot move forward. No, but that's that's his uncle's bar, because I would always go drink there, because I'm like, hey, cocktail.
And his uncle is in Rudy.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings a full circle to your Rudy thing.
To my theory.
So he goes and he works at his uncle's bar first. What happens again? I should have looked this up better.
PJ Leary's.
Oh, yeah, okay.
PJ Lee's? I don't know. Yeah, it's on Vernon Boulevard. And that's the bar his uncle owns. No, he works he works at TGI Fridays, right? Here's the thing.
Yeah, but that's what's crazy to me, because TGI Fridays wasn't a thing yet, was it?
I think that's when those chain restaurants started.
Yeah. But was the original in New York City?
I don't think so.
Oh, it wasn't, right? Because it looks like a regular bar, but it's the TGI Fridays.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't look like a chain restaurant.
I don't think this movie was meant to be broken down this much. We were like, what if we slow roll chain restaurants in Tom Cruise movies? You watch how it mashes up. I'm going to go mentally insane trying to stack together like, are chain restaurants and Tom Cruise's career directly correlated?
You have one of those Minority Report screens.
Yeah, I got to find out. When did Applebee's start? Right around All the Right Moves. I start matching it up. Ruby Tuesdays, Mission Impossible 1.
That's what we do now in our world. Like back in the 80s, you just like lived your life. Now you're like, hey, what kind of hat was he wearing in this scene?
Yeah, I also like just took that movie as like, okay. After I watched it the first time, I don't think I ever paid attention. I'm like, just get to the part where he meets the cool foreign guy.
Brian Brown.
Yeah.
Who's from one of my favorite movies ever, FX. Which is another great 80s plot where the guy uses special effects to ward off criminals.
Yeah, that would be a whole show now.
That would be a whole show now. They should do a show FX.
I mean, what happened to him?
He's a character actor, and he just kept being a character actor. He showed up in that Ben Stiller movie
He was in Gods of Egypt. I mean, he's working.
He's working.
Light
yeah.
Between Oceans.
I think he's getting older, so he's almost probably at that point where you can't recognize him, like from the like he was from the 80s.
Yeah.
So he can do a whole new slew of rules.
But this is how 80s it was. They grabbed an Australian guy to be like the fun, like Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee, that whole shit. Like Australians really thrived in the United States in the 80s, I think. Like as far as their films and TV go.
Yeah, we were so mystified by
We're like,
Australians.
they're gorgeous golden gods.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to find out how to do a little cocktail rinse? I'll dance with my bottles.
If you saw that now, you'd be like, who the fuck is that guy?
That guy's a scumbag. What's he
Yeah,
doing?
they should have really New Yorked that movie up. Like, hey,
Guys, stop fucking dancing around.
can I get my fucking drink or what, guy?
Well, that's the other thing. It also has proved how yuppie-ish that movie was too. Because
That's a super yuppie movie.
It's a super yuppie movie because New York back then was still like New York.
Dangerous.
Like his uncle's bar was more like what New York was back then. And then when he starts working at that like she.
Dude, that's the
cell
best.
block is the best part. You want to just talk about the cell block?
Yeah, I could go for fucking 50 minutes on the cell block. There's so many scenes of that.
Do you want to describe what it is first?
It is a prison theme.
Really quick, sorry. What happens is he works at the TGI Fridays, and then they get a following while they're there, right? Him and Brian Brown, the Australian.
Yeah, Doug.
They're like
Coughlin. Wait, isn't that his name?
Yeah, Doug Coughlin or something like that.
Because it's like Coughlin's Law. That's what it is. He's like, Coughlin's Law.
If you kill a woman with her eyes open, her soul escapes, clearing you of the crime.
He's just a fucking... Yeah, because he always says these laws where he's like, Coughlin's Law. They're like,
Forget about it and get in line.
they're all Coke sayings.
Yeah, they're all like, just him coked up.
Yeah.
The Coughlin's Law. I didn't do it. I'm not guilty.
Yeah, if you can't see it, my nasal passage, it didn't happen.
So
But he meets...
they call them like fan flyers or something, fan fairs, where they're like fancy, like trick bartenders, which they do have those in real life, but they're not famous in the town they're in.
You know who gives
They
a
have them
shit?
in Las Vegas.
You know who gives a shit about him?
Nobody.
Like, everyone for one drink. And then you
Yeah.
go, okay.
And they go,
I'm here to talk.
And then by drink two, they're like, just give me my fucking drink.
Whoa. we should go do flair bartending with
Flair, that's what it is.
sad alcoholics. Just at like a dive bar in Queens, like a real one. Whoa! You want your gin, Mike? He's like, I stabbed a man for this $20 bill. Give me my goddamn hooch.
No, so in this movie they build a following from like not small town bar, but small corner bar. And they become like the toast of the town in the bartending scene. There's a bartending scene, and I guess they're the go-to guys.
I can criticize this movie, but I love it.
Yeah.
I'm here to say that I love it. But
You honestly, truthfully love it.
It's just so fun because it's just a clear indication that they're like, we found a story arc that we can just put the blueprint down, whereas small town guy, no money, meets like, teacher, gets good at thing, teacher, him, conflict, and then but that's the best part is they're good at bartending. You know
what I just realized? This movie is in the same vein if you've seen Roadhouse. It's in the same vein as that. Because think about that. In that movie, the job of bouncer, it's almost the same kind of deal because
he's a good bouncer.
He's a good bouncer, and the job of bouncer, like you can be a known bouncer. Like you can be a bouncer who like does the road, like that.
You work the road. I got a bouncing gig in Toledo 2 nights. Then I got to get on over to Akron.
Yeah, so
I
think in the 80s they were like, let's just take this blue collar job and just make it that you can become a celebrity in this blue collar job.
Yeah, it's the best is that they get hired to work at the cell block, which is like a cool 80s prison.
It's a prison themed
dance club.
Yeah.
And they're the attraction.
There are people just watching the bar as like it's a show.
I think it's been like 2 or 3 years since I've seen it. It's a good sick movie to watch. But there's a scene where he like schools a guy by serving him a drink fast, I think. But like that's like how he shuts him up by like doing his job well. You're like, yeah, that works in most movies. And then he gives the speech, the fucking slippery nipple.
If I play that over the thing, hold on.
Oh, please do. Play it like the voicemail of a child that you love. It's so ridiculous.
Hold on, I gotta do it.
I have a friend who has it. One of my friends growing up has it memorized.
Are you kidding me?
No.
That's how much you guys love this movie?
He sells alcohol now.
Oh, so he just has a problem.
The barman. Here it is.
Oh, you got it? Can you play it? Is that okay, Alex, if he plays into the thing? It's okay if he doesn't.
They're all chanting for him.
This is the speech he gives at the cell
He
block.
grabs a bottle.
Grabs a bottle.
Girls are just grabbing his leg.
It's literally 1,000 people in this bar. It's a gigantic bar. It's blue lit. It's supposed to be, they're wearing like prison-ish type shirts.
I'm the world's last barman poet.
That's not a thing.
I see America drinking the fabulous cocktails I make.
Oh.
America's getting stinking on something I stir or shake. The sex on the beach. The schnapps made from peach. The velvet hammer. The Alabama slammer. I make things with juice and froth. The
Okay, I tap out. You get the whole point. That's a 3-minute thing. It's a 3-minute thing. You flip me. I'm going heel on cocktail. I'm fucking angry that I watched that much of
Well,
it.
here's the thing. If you met that guy now, you'd be like, what a dick.
Yeah.
You'd just be like, this guy's so annoying.
I think it was because Tom Cruise was cool, and then it became a nostalgic movie for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
'Cause then-
Absolutely.
But because then it gets. The weird thing is it's like half the movie's about bartending, and then it just.
Half's about an abortion. It's like Saturday Night Fever, where the movie's about dancing and rape at the same time.
Like, what? What a turn. Elizabeth Shue? No. I mean, that's the
Come
best
on.
part.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that.
Well, so
Elizabeth
he dates
Shue.
the photographer when he's like
Yeah,
a
who's
bar-
Gina Gershon.
Yeah, Gina
when-
Gershon. Like
So hot.
That's why I said there's so much great.
There's great talent. Brian
Yeah.
Brown is great.
Great.
Tom Cruise, great.
It's peak looking Cruise.
That's why it was an A, like you wouldn't call this, it's not a B movie. It's an A movie. It's like a block, it wasn't a blockbuster, but it was
The bartending blockbuster cocktail.
but it was a lot of famous people in this movie.
A lot of famous people. And
Well, having Tom Cruise in any movie back then was like, that was right
88.
at the peak. 88 was the peak of Tom Cruise, like,
he extended it. He had a couple
Stardom.
more pops, but that was like the first real big one where he was like the guy.
yeah. And the reception of this movie is that people liked it back then, right? Oh, no. Did it bomb back then?
I don't think it did. I think that people love to hate it.
People love to hate it even back then. Because that's the thing. It's like you have him. All right, this is my problem with it. This is me going
Because
after
we'll get
it.
to
You try
Elizabeth
defend
Shue.
this. Yeah, we'll get to Elizabeth Shue. We have time.
Any time with Shue.
So here's the thing. The guy, a barman poet, like that's not, there's nobody in the real world that's like, yeah, I'm a barman poet. And people are like, nice. Like that, like, is there
What if
corny-
they're foreshadowing like a bar in Williamsburg or Bushwick where the guy's like, I actually am a barman poet? I wrote this about how my dad is dead to me.
Right, exactly.
And about how PBR is
They're
actually
20 years early
Yeah.
on the barman poet.
These guys are ahead of the curve.
And then it's like, but is there people that like, was there ever a scene like that in New York City, even on a smaller scale? Was there ever a bar where somebody's like, we go for the bartenders,
But
you're
I-
gonna watch them talk? Like that's not.
Yeah. I feel like that's a New York City for people who don't live in New York City.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, where
yeah.
they're
It's like a corny view of like what happens in the big city.
Yeah, like what you would think if you're like, if I went to New York, I bet there's bars that are themed after prison. And their bartenders stop service to give a 3.5-minute speech
with
about
1,000 people waiting for a drink.
about the drinks he made. Hey, buddy, I know what you make. I need a shot of whiskey.
Yeah.
So it's drying up on me.
And also, this is really New York. During that speech, you would just hear "faggot."
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, in the 80s?
In the 80s, that's what I'm saying. In the
1000%.
80s, it would just be
And
get
there's
off
like
the
women.
stage.
There's like women rubbing his leg.
Yeah.
It's
and then Gina Gershon, and then one of the drinks he mentions is the orgasm.
Yeah.
And then Gina Gershon comes up here. She goes, "I'd like to have the orgasm, please." And he goes, "How many?" And she goes, "Multiple." Which might be the most 80s joke I've ever heard.
Did I do blow and watch this movie? Why did I come on here to defend this? You are stripping me of all my arguments.
It's not good. That's what I'm saying. Like, I love it.
I just saw it and I was like, I used to love watching Cocktail. I was like, I can defend it.
It's kind of crazy. It shows you how things cannot outlast time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Do you think
there's,
it
there's
gets
timeless movies and there's movies like this that just are stuck in '88?
I feel we're in a very. I mean, do you feel like it could get remade? You think we reboot this?
They probably will do it.
Because here's the one thing it has that no one can ever replicate: the Elizabeth Shue factor.
It does have that. Yes.
Dream
and the
girl.
Elizabeth,
If you were born between 1978
that's my year I was born.
and 1985,
Yeah, the Elizabeth Shue Factor.
good luck.
She was like the first, and that's not from this movie. It's from
Karate
Kid.
But
Obviously.
it
carries over.
Adventures
Yeah.
in Babysitting.
Oh my God.
This was where she was adult. This was adult Shue.
It was adult show,
This was like
but she still kind of looked. She looked super young. She's so awesome.
the Shue Factor.
The Shue Factor.
Raises up the movie. You Cruise and Shue. A Cruise Shue together. They meet in this. Someone pitched that and was like, oh, this is going to be great.
Well, of course, she's like the love interest in the movie.
Yeah.
They have a great relationship. I forget what curtail. Oh, the father. That's the thing.
Dude, that's
she's
the
a rich girl.
So first off, let me just say this. The movie, you have to argue it in two compartments. Number one, or two parts. Number one is the beginning, which is really just silly and over the top and weird. And then the second part is where so Coughlin sleeps with the photographer, right?
Right, and that's how they break up.
And that's how they break
Because he
up.
bets him. He goes, "You'll be done in a week," and he goes, "No, I don't think so, my friend." Whatever he says.
Yeah.
And then he
says that to him at
at cell block.
prison bar.
Yeah.
At buttfuck bar. Prison. Welcome to prison.
He says them to him there, and then they end up he ends up tricking Gina Gershon into sleeping with him, right? Or fucking him, or whatever.
Uses his Aussie magic.
Yeah, he uses his Aussie.
Well, notice you take photographs.
He uses his special effects to get her to sleep with him. And then
Yeah, man uses his knowledge of special effects.
Do you want to make it look like I got shot?
Is this some nerdy guy that works in Hollywood? I mean, they're not nerds. They're actually awesome. Special effects people are fucking really cool. I've always been into that. But that would be a nerdy way to get laid.
so basically what happens is so then he meets Elizabeth Shue. I forget where he meets her. I should have watched this right before, but I ran out of time.
No, this is a fun podcast where we go over movies we think we remember. He meets her in Jamaica.
He meets her in Jamaica, and then she's rich.
Yeah.
She's super rich. And she has a dad, and the dad hates him. And the dad wants her not
She
to
gets
live.
pregnant.
She gets pregnant.
And he goes to get her, and the dad offers. That's the classic, how much money is it going to take for you to go away?
And he rips
He
up.
chooses love. He met her in Jamaica, he followed her back to New York, and he chooses love.
Because you got to remember, Coughlin's law is marry a rich woman and go down to Jamaica and try to recruit your old bartending buddy.
That's one of the best scenes.
Yeah.
Come on. You know, I never made a red eye.
What's the shot that the drink he always wanted to make? I don't know. He wants to call
I think it was Red Eye.
Well, the name the name of the movie's Cocktails because he wants to name the bar.
Bar Cocktails and Dreams.
Yeah.
You know that they wanted to name the movie Cocktails and Dreams at some point. They just didn't.
I wonder why.
What?
You should find out the legal reasons of why certain things didn't happen.
Legally, it's gay.
No. Cocktails and Dreams is a great name.
It is not a great name. That's another reason. That's reason number 800 that this is a bad movie. He wants to name the bar Cocktails and Dreams.
I'm grabbing it air, Sean.
So that's his goal. The whole goal that he wants to do is cocktails. And then and then at one point, this is another great scene. One point he is making up a logo for the bar. Maybe he's drawing a logo.
Yeah.
And it says, he's like, that's my goal. Cocktails and Dreams. And whoever, I think it's Brian Brown's like, oh, that's great. That's great. Oh, they want to open it together. No.
It's Coughlin that wants to open the bar.
No, it's not.
Wait, is it?
No, I think Cruise is Cocktails and Dreams.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, it's Coughlin that wants to open up the bar? Oh, shit.
We should have done our research.
I might have to retape this episode.
Yeah. We should go watch it. Can we just watch it right now?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tape of an hour and a half of us just watching it.
Yeah.
Wait, so he opens up his bar at the end, because the end of the movie.
He calls it Coughlin's Cocktails and Dreams.
Coughlin's Cocktails and Dreams. Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I misremembered a lot of this.
At the Grand Flanagan's Cocktails and Dreams. Wait, what? Oh, Jesus.
No, here's the thing. And then basically the point of the thing is he opens it up at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But whatever, no matter how you cut it, Cocktails and Dreams is a shitty name for a bar.
It really is.
No matter what age you're, even if it's the 80s, it's still a shitty name.
It sounds
for
like
a bar.
name a child would come up with.
Yeah, it does. What do you name your bar when you grow up?
Cocktails and Dreams, couches and squishy stuff. Doug intends to call his bar Cocktails and Dreams.
Oh. So that's why he does it at the end as a tribute to his friend.
But
his friend that fucked him over.
But then Remember
make
the
up.
letters, and he realized that he was, and the rich woman's like,
Yeah.
"You're the only guy he cared about." And she's like, "Fuck me," and he's like, "No."
Brian Brown is a genius. So basically, so do you still think it's a good movie?
No, I don't know. I'm being stripped of all my confidence.
The only thing you have going for you,
you know what it
you
is?
don't even
I
have,
think
you
we
have
ru-
Optimum Cruise in this. You have
I
like
think we rushed into this because you're like, pick a movie to defend it. I was like, Cocktail. I've seen that 5 times, and then I don't realize it's one of those movies where I can't.
you can't defend it.
No,
You can't.
you should do this as a bonus episode,
Yeah.
and then we'll do another episode in the next,
After we watch it.
like, of another movie where I can defend it.
Okay.
And this is like a Christmas episode, just to get that Rudy joke out.
Maybe I will. Yeah, that Rudy joke. That's worth it right there. No,
And
we
then
can put this out.
This could be no.
we
remember-
had like 35 minutes of solid fucking with this movie.
Yeah, but you break me, which makes it a bonus episode. I'll come back in the next.
Well, here's the deal. I
What
will
do
give
we-
you this. I'll give you the Shue Factor is big.
Here's why I thought I could defend it. Tom Cruise, Elizabeth Shue, Australian guy that says cool shit. There's a Jamaican scene where he finds himself 3 years later, which is a fucking massive jump in time. A lot happens in 3 years. So it really was just, I was just quick draw McGraw, and I fucking went with whatever I thought I could argue. And I'm
Yeah.
starting to realize that this is just a movie where I wish my dad was cool. Because my dad was a bartender. So,
This is more about your dad than anything else.
this got real
real emotional.
What the fuck quickly.
It's your dad's Rudy. Listen, what it is, I'll give you this. This is why you probably win for the day, because if this was on, if I was flipping through the channels right now and it was on, I would leave it on. There you
That's
go.
rewatchable.
That's rewatchable.
All right.
It's definitely rewatchable because there's a lot of movies that aren't rewatchable.
I bet when this bonus episode comes out in Christmas of 2019,
Yeah.
as the deluxe DVD set of Defend Your Movie, people will watch Cocktail.
I think most people have seen Cocktail. It's definitely one of that's why there's so many reviews of it on Rotten Tomatoes, because most people have. I think most people have seen it that are under the age of,
It would be
or
a-
that are over the age of 30.
It would be a fun movie to make fun of, to watch with a friend and make fun of.
It would.
Because
you
you
want to do
think-
this? Maybe we'll have it as a bonus episode, and then we watch it, and then we goof on it, and we see what we got wrong
Yes.
while we're watching it. But I don't think we got much wrong. I
have
remember
a Zoom
most of it.
recorder, so we could do this.
All right, let's do it.
Do you want to do it Saturday?
I can't. Yeah, I can do it Saturday.
Yeah? You want to come over to my house?
Yeah.
I have a mic and Zoom recorder. If you bring a
Do you have
fucking...
HBO Go?
Yeah.
All right.
If you have a chip... If
That-
you have,
that's a good idea, right?
Do you have a memory card?
And then we'll just put it out.
And then we release that as the first episode.
Yeah, and then we can release it as one long file, can't we? Why don't we do? What do we do in succession? So we release.
So we
this,
release this, and then
it's us making fun of it as well.
and realizing what we got wrong.
Yes.
So we can jump already in time.
Yes. You want
They
to do
just
that?
heard you. Yeah, see, this is a very free flowing podcast. You decided to just. I got you to watch Cocktail. I think I might have won.
Well, I just told you one because I would watch it.
It will be a very fun movie to watch and pause and then record and be like, okay, we
Yeah.
just watched the scene where. Because we're not going to like watch the movie as and just record and talk over it. We can watch, pause.
it, pause, record, and then put all the things together.
You're right. We could do that. It's fucking 2017, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll
This
do
is
that.
how we fight the big
So
institutions.
that's how we deal, and then we just smush these together, and that's an episode. So the next time we'll end this now, and the next time you hear us, we will be watching Cocktail.
Oh, it's going to be fun. I wonder if I'm going to be wearing the exact same sweatshirt.
You probably
I
will.
probably absolutely will.
Because I think we need more details to really get into the nitty gritty of.
Of why I can even try to defend this. Because I'm flailing right now.
I'm
all
giving-
I have is Shue, Cruise, and rewatchability.
Yeah, that's pretty much story wise. Like I said,
And Dad offering the check, which I use in one of my jokes.
which
in
is
my
now
act.
just a staple of a lot of
'Cause
TV
it's
shows.
great.
And it's great. It's a great thing to do.
But was it the first? So many questions.
Was it the first? I don't know. But basically, there's a thing that happened in the 80s where they would just have these weird stories in these movies. Like, the way that movies go now, granted, this was like a popcorn movie from the 80s, but think about how, like,
This was a
introspective.
date night. This was a date night
movie. But they don't make this anymore. Like, they don't make movies that are like this. Because also, you think about it, movies that come out now are so much heavier than anything.
Yeah, because
They
we're
just
more
got-
desensitized.
We're more desensitized now. So,
That
like,
was a big deal in
yeah.
the 80s. Like,
Well, there's a murder in that. What's his name dies in the
Dude, he
movie.
kills
He
himself.
kills himself. I mean, yeah, exactly.
with a bottle of champagne, which is
on a
Pretty
boat.
ironic way to kill yourself.
That's elegant as fuck. It's like this guy hated himself, but also kind of really treated himself. This guy treated himself right.
This guy loved himself and hated
You
himself.
know what a fucking mix! What a mixed bag of emotions.
All right, so let's do this. That's what we'll do. 'Cause we have
We're
about-
gonna go watch. Let's go watch Cocktail.
Let's go watch Cocktail, and then what you'll hear next will be
I'm
us.
really excited for
This
this.
will be fun. It'll be us watching Cocktail in real time, and you'll see if our minds are changed, and if I can convince Dan that it's a shitty movie, and he convinced me that it's an actually good quality movie. Not quality, it comes to that. It's a good movie. I'll just say it's a good movie.
Quality has nothing to do with it.
Quality has nothing to do with it, because quality you get
good?
into like filmmaking stuff.
No.
And you just want good movies.
This is the Layman's Movies podcast.
Yeah, right.
This
Exactly.
is for the working Joe.
This is for the working Joe. This is for his uncle from that movie. That's what would love this
it.
podcast.
And I think that's the bar, and then we'll know if it's the bar from By the Creek in the Cave and all that shit.
All right, sounds good. All right, so we'll see you
Now.
We'll see now.
I'm glad that we're going back and because neither one of us did our preparation. Oh, see, it's cold in winter. So we're going to be pausing this as we watch this movie because we're not going to make you people listen to us watch a movie.
But it's going to go on the end of a 35-minute podcast, so technically we could do that.
It's all bonus.
It's all bonus. If you want, like,
First off, if you're a guy on the bus and you're getting pulled over on a bus by the army, you're probably high if you're on a bus.
it's also like there's a whole big thing. Back in they still had that movies where like just a sedan will pull you over by having that dashboard light.
Yeah.
Like, do you think anybody now would even fall for that?
Yeah, cool dashboard light. You bought it. Spencer's Gifts.
He's got to be what, like 19 years old? This bus driver's like, okay.
Just pulls out a gun. Pull over. All right. We'll talk after every scene. The scene with his uncle, I tried defending it, but I can't defend it when he's like, you got to outthink, you got to outmaneuver, outcut, and you're like, you have a shitty bar in Queens. I want to defend you, but you're not successful. Greed is good when you're Gordon Gekko, when you're a guy fucking living off this,
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I'll take Gordon Gekko's advice. I might not like Gordon Gekko, but I'll take his advice. You love your uncle, but you're not going to take his business advice. He hasn't franchised.
That's when the nostalgia bothers me, when it's just that 80s, like, get money, like, make money. But then this guy's not.
Well, what it comes from is also, like, it comes from a place, it's a more innocent place of, like, you respect your elders and you just listen to them no matter what. So now everybody's so jaded, this scene wouldn't work.
Yeah, because you'd be like, the uncle would just be a blabbering idiot.
Yeah. If you're a millennial, you're not listening to this uncle.
You're like,
know what I mean?
You're a loser.
You're a loser. You don't even
smoke cigarettes.
You don't have Wi-Fi in your bar.
Yeah. Oh, if they do a reboot of Cocktail, it's going to be terrible. The big problem is going to be someone spilling a drink on an iPhone.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's going to be
That's what I do love, because the guy playing the uncle is one of the coaches from Rudy.
Yeah.
Which actually fits into your Cocktail, your theory that
they wanted that
Cocktail
theme.
Is the Rudy for bartenders.
Yeah. And it's trying to show, but this is where I have to defend it, but I don't. Let's just enjoy Cocktail.
Okay, let's just watch it, yeah.
But let's not, be too critical. Great 80s montage with him trying to get a job on Wall Street.
Yeah. And then he walks into like one of the original TGI Fridays.
Yeah. Cocktail now would just be him working at a mini mall, TGI Fridays.
You think so? You don't think it would be him like going into...
I like that they're making TGI Fridays look like a legitimate restaurant in this movie.
Well, I think because this is the point when it was. Or was it already a chain by this point or no?
I don't know. Oh.
Oh.
Coughlin's Law.
It's not Coughlin's Law.
Not like Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, the Giants coach Law.
Coughlin's Law. Always keep your face purple when you're playing in a cold weather environment.
Yeah, Coughlin's Law. Okay, so we're back on the recording here, and we just watched like a big chunk of Cocktail.
I'm kind of defending it. I mean I see its faults,
You're
but
kind of flip flopping.
I'm flip flopping.
As I'm watching it, I'm realizing it's a great movie. But But here's the thing. It's
a great movie. You just said it was a great movie.
Well, here's the thing. It's like it's not as bad as I thought it was. Like it's not. There's parts of it that are very. You know what it is? It just doesn't hold up. Like time wise, there's so many dated things in this movie. Like so many 80s things in this movie that it doesn't hold up. But as far as like it, I will get the pacing of it is fantastic.
There's
far as
no
montages go.
Great use of montages. It moves.
It moves.
I
like
mean,
a
it
motherfucker.
changes on a dime. The scene in the cell block, it goes from being
a buddy
buddy dream movie into a fractured relationship merely because of a bet, which makes me think Coughlin's a real dickhead.
Coughlin's a piece of shit because literally what happened was
one of his rules is Coughlin's law.
Ruined his friendship over a basketball game.
Yeah, because he hit 5 shots in a row.
If the Tom Cruise hits 5 shots in a row, he's like, "You owe me $50," and then Coughlin's like, "Shit, I can't pay that $50."
I don't got $50. It's why I've took this guy as my young apprentice.
So he goes,
I got to bang Gina Gershon.
I'll bet you $50 that lass will be
with another guy in bed by the end of the week.
End of the week, and then I guess he takes the bet, and most people would have thought that was like a bullshit bet, but I guess it was a real bet because the very next scene is them back at the cell block, and then Gina Gershon walks up and starts making out with Coughlin.
Which is crazy that that's you might by the end of this podcast you're going to be defending Cocktail. I'm going to be trying to take it down because it just jumps from them making that bet to immediately it paying off, which I don't know if I like.
I think I like it because it's like, damn, this is quick. And like, damn, you're fitting a lot of story into a very short amount of time.
I think.
And then also, the other thing I wanted to say is this. So what happens is she kisses him at the bar. She kisses Coughlin.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise's quote-unquote girlfriend, Gina Gershon. And then she walks up and she goes, I take it back. You're not going to be famous. Because earlier she was
what an 8th grade insult.
Yeah. And then she's like, and also learn to keep your mouth shut when it comes to our sex life. And it's like, okay, so to prove that to prove that you weren't a slut, like to prove that you didn't sleep around or like you didn't want to.
I don't think she was proving that. I think she was like, you told him about my sex life, so I slept with him, which is a very destructive way of behaving.
Yeah. So the only reason you wouldn't want somebody to
very white trash to do that.
You would only want somebody not to talk about your sex life because you don't want you to think that you're like loose or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, but then you went and you slept with the guy that you didn't want to think you were.
She goes, he told you? Well, now I got to fuck you.
Right. Exactly. No weird.
And also, it's just scummy that he's like, oh, I did that so she wouldn't fuck with your head. It's like, okay, but now you've just fucked with my head.
Yeah.
Because now I can't trust you because I liked her. You knew I liked her, and you fucked her, which is insane. That you would even remotely consider that person ever being a friend again. You're like, you're an asshole.
You're a piece of shit.
I want nothing to do with you. So he reacted properly.
I literally have 0 friends who have slept with ex-girlfriends of mine. I don't even have that. It's not a thing that happens.
I don't know, but it's one of those things where you're like, and then it just jumps into him being a local
and local bartender in Jamaica.
And by the way, I know both of us read the Wikipedia before we did the first part of this episode.
Yeah.
But it does not indicate it's been 3 years.
Is that how long?
That's what it said on Wikipedia.
That's what it said on Wikipedia?
Maybe there isn't dialogue coming up because we paused the movie real quick. But right now you don't know. It's just like it just jumps to him being in Jamaica. You're like, it could be the next week.
That's what I thought. I didn't read that wiki. I forgot that it said that on it, and I thought it was.
Are you like close friends with Wikipedia? Is that why you call it wiki? Do you call it at home like, what's up, Wiki? Hi, Wiki. You just went over that like you guys were friends. You're like, oh, Wiki didn't say that. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Do you know WikiLeaks? Do you call it at home?
I call it Wiki for short.
Yeah. I learned, it's good to know that Sean Donnelly and Wikipedia are on a first name basis.
Yeah, Pedia is his last name.
Hi, Mrs. Pedia. Is Wiki home? That's my father at Cycla. I'm trying to think of another Pedia, but I can't. It's dumb.
That's true. That was the lamest thing I could have said. I'm like, I didn't see it on Wiki.
By the way, we've had so many. So this is me going back to defending it. It's been 45 minutes of a movie, and there has been three major plot points.
Yes.
Which you do not see in modern movies.
Yes. The whole, because it's one of those things where they set you up for a totally different movie, and then it becomes about the relationships of the people. Because at first you're like, oh, he wants to be like this business mogul.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, now he's a bartender. And then it kind of sets you up like, oh, it's going to be about his trajectory to being like.
They keep you guessing.
They keep you guessing.
Let's jump back in.
Well, here's the thing. And then, so right now we're at the point where he's in Jamaica and then he meets Elizabeth Shue, who just looks lovelier than ever.
I mean, prime Shue.
Just prime Shue.
This
She's
is prime
right
Shue.
in that crux of that prime Shue.
Oh, yeah.
That leaving Las Vegas Shue.
Yes.
Like where it's like, it's probably, how many years is that? 5-6 years before that? Because it's like probably 97.
Yeah, 94, 95, I thought.
94, 95. You're right. It's 95.
Yeah.
So this is what, 89.
Yeah, so this is 6 years. And she still looks, I mean, Hamlet, too, she looks amazing.
No, she looks great.
She's perfect.
But I'm saying, but this is like 6-year-old Sean watching Karate Kid Shue, where it's like, oh my God, I have
this is an
feelings
angel
for
on heaven.
girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a girl like that.
I want a girl like that.
In a sweater like that.
In a sweatshirt, sweater, whatever.
In a sweater, mini skirt.
Yes.
Knee-high combo.
Yes. And then this is like
The
years later.
The old Elizabeth Shue.
You grow up with her. Because now she's a little bit older in this.
Yeah,
It's like a couple years
she's
later.
a woman now.
She's a woman
She's
now.
a young woman now.
Yes.
Let's get back to the movie.
Let's do it.
Let's see if there's another 15 plot points.
There's going to be 40 more characters introduced in this movie.
Turns out, it's a movie about a war crime.
Turns out it's a Muppet movie. That's weird.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, we're back, and Tom Cruise is courting Elizabeth Shue in this movie.
And Elizabeth Shue's tossing him around like a rag doll.
There's one part of the beach. There's a lot of like aggression. There's a lot of male, female aggression in this movie. Like when he's in bed with Gina Gershon, at one point she just starts freaking out. It looks like a rape at one point.
It really does.
She just starts freaking out.
If you take the song out, if you put the proper score to that, it could become a rape movie.
That could be a scene in like an HBO show,
Or like a really traumatic one where they go back and show that, and you're like,
oh my God.
poor woman.
And then
That
just
animal.
now, just now, I guess it was the reverse, but it was Elizabeth Shue like taking him down like judo style, like literally like a move, like.
But here's
kicking
where
out his
I'll
legs.
defend it. Here's where I'll defend it. It gets to the point. They just go right to the point in this movie. It's
do.
right to the point where you see Coughlin with his new wife, and they're just making out, and she's clearly dick hungry. So they're setting it up
Yeah.
easy. I like it.
They show her like give.
Well, first when she's checking out the guys on the beach, all those guys walk
that's
by, and she's
true.
like smiling and waving, and then
That's right. And then she comes over, and then they go to the club, the dance cave, because
Ooh.
everybody knows the dance cave in
where they're
Jamaica.
doing, they're covering. It's not UB40. Who did it?
They're going. I forget what song it was. It just happened. I forget what song it was.
Yeah.
But they're making out there, and then like the Coughlin's wife goes to Elizabeth Shue. She's like, "Oh, Brian's cute. How long have you known him for?" It's like,
Which is what a weird way to meet a lady.
it's like nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Like we just met each other.
So now the courting is happening, and they're falling in love on the
the
beach.
courting's happening, but they have a montage, another A+ montage in this movie.
Can I just say, no matter how I end on this movie,
Yeah.
the reason I'm on Defend Your Movie is to say that Cocktail might have the best use of montages
Absolutely.
from a non-action movie standpoint.
Absolutely. The pacing of it is really, really turning me.
Non-action movie montage. This is one of the best movies of all time.
The weird part about this montage is when they stop the montage and they slow it down, they're on the beach right before she takes him down, like judo style, MMA style.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, how do you pay the rent?" And then she says she works at Jerry's Deli in New York.
Home of the Cement Danish. Everyone knows the Cement Danish.
Everybody knows that. But the weird part about that to me is they've been hanging out for days, and this is the first time her job has come up.
Yeah.
You don't talk to somebody you're dating, quote
We're
unquote.
talking Prime Shue, Prime Cruise. They're banging.
They're just banging left and right.
They're just learning each other's bodies. They don't have time to learn each other's occupations.
There's no talking during montages.
They're in Jamaica banging. Dom Coughlin is taking an office job for the Jaguars. Coughlin's banging some rich, dick-hungry lady.
Yeah, did we talk about that? Earlier in the recording, you'll hear Dan call it Coughlin's Law.
I call it
And then we
Coughlin.
decided that it's Tom Coughlin's Law. It's just
Yeah.
a 70-year-old white man's law. He's like,
Yeah, the former Super Bowl winning coach of the New York Giants. I'll tell you what my law is.
He's like,
Never let your wide receivers go to Miami the week of the playoff game.
Tom Coughlin's Law.
Coughlin's
Get
Law.
to the movies early and bring your own candy.
Coughlin's Law. 4-3 cover 2 will always do a lot of damage against any team that runs the ball.
Oh, you went the football route. I was going the old man route.
Oh, no, I want to go like him actually being a really good football coach.
Yeah, those are like legitimate plays.
Yeah, but he was a good coach.
He's a great coach.
Coughlin, terrible friend. Tom Coughlin, great football coach.
Yes.
Coughlin, Doug Coughlin, terrible friend.
Tom Coughlin's got to be a better friend than Doug Coughlin. He's got to be.
Coughlin's Law.
Coughlin's Law.
Always take your friend in and then do something mean to him. Beat him around.
Yeah.
Show him you're the only one
Always
he's
talk
got.
like you don't. Maybe you don't like that person. That's how he talks.
He shows up at the bar, just starts shit talking. Elizabeth Shue, who, by the way, is just there to thank Tom Cruise for saving her friend.
Yes.
And then Coughlin comes up and is like, "This guy is my son,"
Yeah.
but never clarifies that they actually just work together in New York. But this is why I appreciate Cocktail. Because they move forward, and I feel like a current movie would put the situation where someone would be like, well, they need to have the scene where he explains that he's a work friend. So they would shoehorn that in there, where he's like, I worked at a bar, and this guy...
Yeah.
So
Here, they're just letting it up to you to make the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about that.
But he comes in, Coughlin, and he's like kind of he's such a dick because... He's not kind of a dick. He's definitely a dick. He just aggravates any social situation that he's in. Like if you knew him in person, you'd be like, "Oh God, Doug."
He'd be a troublemaker.
You'd be like, "Doug's coming."
Who is he? He's just this alcoholic bartender that I know. He has these like laws. Dude, I don't know, man.
That's right. If one of your friends called, they said they had their own laws. What a dick! You would not hang out with them.
Yeah.
You would unfriend them on Facebook.
Soder's Law. If
you
you're
imagine-
gonna nap, make sure you do it on a couch, not a bed, because that's sleep. I'm gonna start doing Soder's Law.
Can you imagine Doug Coughlin on Facebook?
Oh,
He'd be the biggest.
Coughlin's Law. I don't like this movie, so I'm going to write a review about it.
Yeah.
Coughlin's Law is if you don't like it, unfollow.
There's no way 2017 Doug Coughlin doesn't have a Yelp account.
Oh, he's a Yelper.
He's a Yelper. He's like a career Yelper.
That's why the internet was best left. Humans were best not to have the
Not
internet.
to have the internet. Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's jump back into the
We'll
courting
go back
scene.
into
But we just looked at each other and were like, we got to start talking about this because this shit's getting great.
All right, cool. We're really getting into this now, and we decided to record again because we're feeling some real feelings.
Feeling real feelings. We're both upset.
Really quick, there's a scene where Coughlin. We realized this. Let's talk about the Coughlin's a dick thing even more.
He's the villain. You said it perfectly.
He's the villain of the movie, but you don't think it because they're supposed to be friends, and they kind of are, but they aren't. Like
They're frenemies.
they're frenemies.
This is a prequel to frenemies.
Enemies. And he's such a dick. And then he comes over at one point after Brian and Elizabeth Shue had such a wonderful day in the waterfall. She took her
she
top
was so
off.
beautiful.
It was so
They
nice.
wanted to live there forever.
Yeah, she was like, when our kids will look great with dreads on, we'll just stay here. I was like,
So this is
yes.
wrong. They're white.
Yeah,
no
right.
white people look. No white persons look good with dreadlocks.
So anyway, then he's at the bar working. Finally, we also thought about that. Dan brought up a good point where he's like, "There's no real bartender talk ever in this movie. There's none of
If
this."
you've worked in the service industry and you watch this, there is no traces of actual lingo, jargon that's ever used. Like, Brian, I need you to pick up my double on Friday. You've been bullshitting with that girl in the waterfall. I need to be working. I got to go to the hospital. I got a nice staph infection. You got to pick up my shift, Brian.
I got bit by a shark, Brian.
Brian. I be getting the poisoning. I gotta go to the doctor,
Yeah,
but you
Brian.
be fucking around.
You piss on my toes. I got bit by a jellyfish,
Yeah,
Brian.
Brian, pee on my feet. Also, can you pick up my Tuesday opening?
So what happens is he's at the bar back working. Stupid Coughlin comes up again.
Motherfucking Coughlin.
And then just starts being a dick like he is, and then he says that he can't pick up this like kind of like cougarish woman that sits at the bar.
Yes.
And Brian takes the challenge again like a schmuck, and he walks over and says something, and she shits on him, and he goes back to them, and then he says this weird line of dialogue. I always thought this weird line of dialogue where he goes, "It wouldn't be any fun if they just fell over with their legs open." Now
We're
would it?
starting to realize that most of these people are creeps in
They're
this movie.
all creeps.
Elizabeth Shue is the only good person.
Yes, she's an angel.
She is an angel sent from above. That's why I'm defending this movie. This is a movie about an angel that's around a bunch of devils.
So the reason we started recording is because literally they show Tom Cruise walking off the beach with the cougar woman, and then they show Elizabeth Shue coming down the beach, and Dan involuntarily just goes, "No!" Dan just goes, "No!" And I gotta be honest, I didn't say it, but I was feeling it. I was feeling the same way.
Oh, it was terrible. I
She
felt so
watches
bad.
them walk off like drunk, about to go fuck, and that's where we're at now.
Yeah,
But
we
he's like,
still got 40 minutes.
We got a
moving.
lot of the movie left, so that's where we're at now. But
We just wanted to
talk about that. Okay,
so
we're
we're
gonna go
feeling
back.
real things.
Yeah, we're feeling. He goes, no. Okay, now, so we're back recording. Elizabeth Shue sees him with the older woman. She leaves. And
By the way, you brought this up. He asks her roommate where she went,
Yeah.
and the roommate just goes, "She flew back last night on a flight. What did you do to her?"
what did you do to her?
And then
he
he
just
throws-
walks away. He doesn't answer the question. It happens a lot in movies where somebody will just be talking to them, and then the main character will just walk away and not address what they just said.
Which, when done well in this movie, is awesome. When they move the storyline, moving along.
But when you're it is kind of awkward if somebody's literally asking you a direct question, and also, don't you want to know why she left? At that point, he doesn't even know she left because she saw him with the woman.
She thought she might have just taken off. There's no cell phones. You don't get texts.
Exactly. So what happens is he kind of he hooks up with the cougar, who's I guess some kind of business, she's the head of some kind of company or something.
She's a business lady.
She's a business lady, like an 80s
business
She's
lady.
like the Gordon Gekko of cougars, basically. And they go back together, and he stays with her.
But these
Seems
kind of
like-
characters, those kind of characters were really popular in the 80s.
Yeah.
Which is because it was a revolutionary thing of women being
Powerful,
but being kind of sleazy too, like powerful men.
Yes.
Because there was this Lionheart, which I'll defend on another episode if you want.
I've never seen that.
Was Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Oh, have I seen Lionheart? I probably have.
Of course you have.
Why? What?
But
I've
the
seen
antagonist,
Bloodsport.
the antagonist in Lionheart's this businesswoman who's has sex with Jean-Claude Van Damme or wakes. Yeah, she kind of boy toys him or tries to boy toy him, and she's a promoter she's a fight promoter.
She's a fight promoter.
She's a female Don King.
Yeah, that came up in the 80s. It was working girl, like the working girl thing of like Susan Sarandon and Working Girl, same kind of thing. So she's that type of woman. You've seen her a million times in 80s movies. I guess I don't know if he stays with her or whatever. They're back, and then she's his boy toy, and he probably pretty much knows that, I guess, but he kind of goes along with it because he wants to get a sales job of some sort. And
Well, he still wants to be a businessman, which is the through line through all of this.
Yeah,
is that he's trying to be a successful businessman.
Yeah, he's trying to be a businessman. He thinks this is his way in. Then they go to.
He really did just give up on Elizabeth Shue, though. He fucked the
did.
rich lady, and then he went to her house and was like, "She's gone," and he's like, "Oh, well, that's that."
Yeah.
And And by the way, he goes back to New York with the rich lady, and then just doesn't look up Elizabeth Shue, or does it?
No. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, yes, he does. He goes to the diner and looks in the window, really
She's waiting
creepily,
table.
and then sees her, and then walks away, and then goes back to the rich lady.
Then when he leaves the rich lady,
Then when he leaves the rich lady, but the way he leaves is so spectacular because
I'll say this: it's the most likable that Brian.
Brian is in
the movie.
Flanagan is in this movie because they go to this art opening thing, which happens also a lot in 80s movies, a lot of art stuff. And they're at the opening. He hates it. He's getting drunker and drunker. The rich girlfriend is like, "What's your deal? You're drinking too much." The bawdy like sassy artist.
That's the best.
It's always the best. Goes to the rich
Who's like,
lady.
"Who's your rich boy toy?"
Well, he goes, "You don't have this one party broken yet, huh?" That's what he says to her.
Well,
And then-
I'd fight anybody that said that.
Oh, absolutely. And then Tom Cruise goes, "Come again?" And then the guy goes, "The best exchange ever." Because the guy pushes. One thing is the artist pushes him first. He pushes him first and says, "You're drunk." And then Tom Cruise pushes him back and says, "You're ugly."
Great comeback.
And then the artist punches him in the face.
Yep.
Tom pretends to kind of regain his sense a little bit.
Well, first off, he does a cool move where he hands one of the ladies at the party his glass. He goes, "Can you hold that for me real quick?"
Yeah.
And he goes, No.
No, it's fine.
Just
it's fine,
the hands
it's
up.
fine. Yeah.
Oh, no.
And does almost like a WWE stomp.
I would even say it's a la Taken or a Viggo
Yeah.
Mortensen in the History of Violence, a Steven Seagal
A
move.
really great fight move. Steps on the foot and the
Hits
guy
him in the stomach.
Hits him in the stomach and then
Turns him around.
Yeah, and then kicks him in to his own statue. It's a baller move.
I mean, both of us were impressed with it.
Yeah, we were really impressed with it.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
So now he's back trying to get Elizabeth Shue.
See,
He goes.
The one thing I didn't agree on the movie, and also I think you agree at this. he waits outside for the rich lady, but I think it's so they can have an exchange.
Yeah, it's to show it ending.
Normally, it should be
The pacing of this movie, it wouldn't show it.
Yeah.
Pacing of this movie, he'd just show up at the diner and you would figure.
But I think they wanted to fit in this scene he had between her, where he says, I moved my stuff out of your place. We're done.
Yeah,
guess
which
they
I
wanted to
believe
make
is
it final.
which I believe is in Lincoln Center, the Lincoln Center movie theater. I think that's where they are.
Is that where they are?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
get out of here. And she, and the weird part is, he says some really innocuous line where he's like, I moved my stuff out of your place. I left the Spam in the fridge. I hope the bourgeoisie, or there was some kind of fancy food, doesn't take it personally. And she goes, you bastard! And she slaps him in the face.
Which makes me think it was a deleted scene.
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Like, he called her a cunt out of nowhere.
He's just like, you're a cunt. Also, I left Spam in your refrigerator, you dirty bitch. You bastard!
So,
And then she slaps him, and then he goes to get violent, and she changes. She goes, Brian, I'm sorry. She
backs right down.
She does the real,
Yeah.
It makes me think that Brian might have put hands on her, because she goes, I'm sorry. She just the way she reacts
It
so
makes me think
quickly.
it might have had like a military trial for hitting a woman or
Where
something.
they're like, oh, he was dishonorably discharged. He struck a female soldier. We should write another movie about Brian Flanagan that's just like he's the dirtbag.
Like it's A Few Good Men, but with Brian Flanagan.
He code-redded a girl, and they're like, you can't do that.
He's like, fine, I'm moving to New York.
I want to be, fuck it. How can I work off the grid? I'll be a bartender. It's cash. It's cash in hand.
This guy's just a piece of shit.
Well, you have a theory, which I think you might be right, where
With Coughlin?
Doug Coughlin's the devil.
Doug, you could make, I want this to be, I'm going to make this into a meme and put it online. You could make the theory that in this movie, Doug Coughlin is the devil. Because all he does is show up,
Tempt Tom Cruise.
and he fucks up the act, like the positive action of this movie. So he's obviously, what do they call that? Where he's like the,
Antagonist?
Protagonist, yeah, antagonist, I mean. He antagonizes the story. He's the one vehicle to antagonize the story at every turn.
Yeah, it's not. The rich lady was
It's
pretty
not the
good
rich-
to him.
Yeah, the rich lady was pretty
Gina
good to him.
Gershon, they banged in her sweet brownstone.
Right, exactly. And he comes in, and he's the devil, and he fucks it up. And it's almost like for his own kicks. Because what else? Why else would he do
Coughlin's
that?
law. Find Coughlin's law is your soul is mine.
And he does it in this very devil way of like, we're friends, but we're not friends.
We're friends, but look at all
We're
the
friends.
jewels and glittery gold that I have. Don't
Yeah.
you want that? Love is not as important as gold.
Yeah. Well, the best part about it is, so what happens is he leaves the rich lady. He goes and finds Elizabeth Shue at her diner again. She's like, I'm not talking to you. He's like, I'm not leaving until you let me apologize. But the thing is, whatever. But so he's like, you have to let me apologize. So she goes, oh, you want to see the specials? And he goes, and she brings out all this food and dumps it on top of him. And then he takes it really well. Like, he takes it really, really well.
Obviously in the story is his redemption quality. And then he's like, I'm an asshole. Because he really has, we're at the scene now where they go into Elizabeth Shue's apartment, which is apparently, she moved out and the friends moved in.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the giant
It looks like
window.
the gigantic.
As two people that live in New York, you don't know anybody with giant windows. Like that.
No. She has these awesome, like old warehouse windows.
Yeah.
At her, and this is like the '80s, so you know that this isn't happening. Like, you know, whatever.
But
So
he has no excuse for why he's a dick.
yeah, he has no excuse. He literally tells her, she goes, I saw you guys. I saw you and the cougar. Red-handed. And his reasoning, he says, when a guy puts down a dare, you gotta take it. That's literally not a thing. That's
And
not.
so the reason I told Sean is I was like, we got to start recording is because if it's Elizabeth Shue takes him back in this movie, I lose respect for her. Because I forgot that he was this big of a piece of shit. I would say for the rest of this podcast series, you have to tell people to watch movies because I'm getting a different outlook on this movie. I still defend it
I know.
because I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
And
Here's
it is
the
a
thing.
good movie. I think it's a good movie.
I think it's. I'll say I like it. I'll be at the end. I'll be like, I like it better than I thought I did.
I think I warmed you up to it, and I think it cooled me off a little on the
cooled you
characters,
off.
not on the movie.
I'm like, and what happened was the pacing of the movie got me to like it better about how succinct it is.
Well, we got a little bit left, so let's finish this bitch up.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we're back, and we just watched a big chunk of it.
Doug's dead.
The devil is dead.
The
everybody.
devil has died. Coughlin's Law, always end what someone else starts.
He goes to pay off on his bet to Doug. Did we talk about the meeting with the dad, or we didn't talk about that?
No, we didn't. That was we stopped before that.
Okay,
we stopped when they were in their apartment, and she told him we'd even get to the part where she told him she was pregnant, and then she kicks him out.
Oh, you're right.
And
Okay,
she gives
so
a yes no when he goes.
Elizabeth Shue is pregnant.
Yeah. Because he goes, there's no way you can spook me off. No, and she's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to spook you. He's like, oh, yeah, how? And she's like, I'm pregnant. He's like, you spooked me. And then she's like, get out.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you kind of just told me you're pregnant, so I'm sorry.
Well, the weird thing that we picked up on is that he goes, you just brought me up here so you can kick me out. And she goes, And then, but she nods her head. Like,
yes, she nods yes, and then she goes,
yes.
no.
Yeah.
Or no, excuse me. She nods her head no, but goes, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I
and
did.
you're like,
yeah. She goes, and then, but she shakes her head no, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So he leaves and then decides, then he goes and, he comes back to her apartment. What does he do in the meantime?
No, he leaves.
He goes to see his uncle. The coach from Rudy.
The coach from Rudy talks to him about being a dad, and then he goes.
And the uncle's kind of a dipshit too, because he's like, "What do you care? She's not shaking you down. You don't know
She doesn't
anything.
want you in the
You
life.
don't care about this girl. You just take off." I'm like, "That's not the way it works."
We
at
also
all.
realized that their baby would be 27 now, so it
Yes.
would be it'd be a dude, or a woman. It would
They
be
should do
an adult.
Cocktail remake with the baby. The baby from Cocktail.
We need to write Cocktail 2,
Cocktail 2.
Flannery's Law.
The Redemption. Flannery's Law. So he goes back to her apartment, and then they do this. I'm mentioning this because this always happens in movies where the neighbor comes out. He's knocking on the door. The neighbor comes out, and she goes, "She's not hiding." That's what the neighbor says. And he goes, "You know where she is?" She goes, "She's at her parents' house. Go knock their door down," or whatever she says. And he goes, "You know what? You don't happen to know where that is, do you?" And there's no reason why this neighbor would even know this.
Yeah,
but the neighbor
I don't know.
says, "Yes, corner of 67th and Park." I guess that's enough of an address that he can figure out the building, but just immediately he's in the building. New York City, it's not like that. Like New York City, there's so many buildings on 67th and Park.
It's just like everywhere. There are fucking addresses.
There's addresses. Like, so it's like, and this is pre-internet age. So he's
Can't
just
Google.
walking into buildings being like, "Is Elizabeth Shue here?"
Hi, is Jordan here? I fucked her in Jamaica.
It's a whole thing.
Anyway, she's pregnant, but her
pregnant.
neighbor told me her parents live here, which
I'm here to do the right thing. It's no big deal.
Yeah. I'm a hero.
I'm a hero. I'm awesome. So he goes up he finds the apartment, and then he goes up. They live in the penthouse, of course. And Dan thought it was one of those apartments from the 80s. You know who had that? The 3 Men and a Baby guys had that.
Elevator into the apartment?
Elevator into the apartment.
Ralph Sutton from Gas Digital
just
has that.
the apex of decadence.
It's amazing. It truly is living.
Ralph Sutton from where?
From Gas Digital. Lewis's podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his apartment. It opens up, the elevator goes into his apartment.
That's great. So it's not. There's a door, but it's a fancy, nice oak. I would say an oak door.
Yes.
Goes into the apartment. The
It's
dad.
great. First off, let me just say this. I'm defending this movie. It's a great movie. And I'll further my defense of the movie. And I'm defending the father of Elizabeth Shue.
Oh, that's right. You
I
love the
think
dad.
I hated him growing up, but now rewatching this movie, I think he's a good dad. This guy fucked his daughter, got her pregnant, and is tormenting her, coming back in her life. If I only knew those facts,
Yeah.
I would make a
I'd be
move.
like, fuck this guy.
I would make a move to get that person out of my daughter's life. And he offers him a check for $10,000.
For $10,000, which were like
Which I use in a bit of mine.
even in
'Cause of this
'89.
movie.
Even in '89, though, isn't 10 grand like not?
It's not a lot.
It's not a lot of money.
I mean, 10 grand,
Like
80s New York money would get you maybe a year of rent in a decent place,
yeah.
but that's it. I like this movie. Like, I have a joke, and it was influenced by this movie.
Yeah, that's how much you love this movie.
Yeah, because that's how much I'm defending my movie.
Yeah, that's really good.
Because I've gone wishy-washy, but now I'm here, just like Tom Cruise. At the end, I'm here for the movie.
You
That's
defend
right.
this movie as your version of going up to the dad in the penthouse.
Well, think about all the times if you listen to this episode, I've gone wish-washy on this movie. I am Brian Flaherty, and this movie...
Flanagan.
Flanagan. Is
Yeah.
it Flanagan or
Yeah,
Flaherty?
Flanagan.
Flanagan?
Yeah.
Well, we called him Coughlin for so long.
Well, yeah, right, exactly.
But if me defending the movie is Elizabeth Shue, I'm Brian Flanagan. And I keep coming in and out.
The movie's Elizabeth Shue. That's right.
Yeah, and I keep coming in and leaving. It's the best thing I've had.
So then Elizabeth Shue shows up right as they're arguing.
Yeah, and she tells him, and then he gets mad at her. It rips up the check in front of her to kind of show, like, fuck you, I love you, and then leaves and goes to the opening of Coughlin's bar.
Yeah, I don't think it's not the opening. I think it's supposed to be like a Saturday night at that bar because he's already like in it. He already.
Oh
has
yes, because they were moving back at the same time.
Yeah. So he's already in it. He goes. It's like this. It's like your quintessential like '80s hotspot. There's big bouncers at the door. So some lady saying that she's Bruce Springsteen's cousin to try to get in.
That's big.
It's big. Yeah. She's overheard. It's just a very like they put that in.
Yeah.
You know that's what do they call that? DDS. No, what do they call it?
It's called ADR.
ADR. Yeah. They put that in there way, and so he sneaks in and he runs by, finds Brian Brown, and then Brian Brown,
also known as Doug Coughlan.
Also Doug Coughlan. He tells him this is all an illusion. The bar is on its ass, and I should have read one of your books because I didn't know about taxes or insurance.
He kind of lets you know he's broke, but
it's also he kind of lets you know that he's a real fucking dummy. Like who doesn't know about taxes?
Because he's been about bravado the entire movie, like. This is what life is, and if you got to live life, live it like this. Turns out I'm not properly educated. I have no reference on how bars work or how
it's like how do you even
any
live
sort
your
of
life?
Small business works. Actually, truth be told, I've been had.
Yep, and then his sultry wife,
the woman from the love interest from Roadhouse.
Yeah, the love interest from Roadhouse, the one that's in Jamaica, and she's making eyes at guys and Flanagan, and she's obviously not happy with she's a wandering eye, they call it.
Yes,
she's had it. She's probably fucking around like crazy.
A wandering eye.
So she comes down and says, "Oh, I want to go home," and then so Brian gives her a ride home in her like fur.
Well, because Doug passes out on the boat.
Doug passes out drunk. Yeah. Doug passes out drunk on the boat. Brian gives a ride home. She tries to make it with Brian. He stops her, and she gets pissed. Normally, if somebody tries to, like, if you try to, like, cheat on your husband.
Someone's like, stop.
Somebody's like, stop. You're like, oh, my God, you're right. I'm sorry.
Please don't tell Doug.
But twice in this movie, is there another instance where somebody gets mad because he doesn't want to fuck him? Like,
well, the rich lady gets mad because he's leaving.
Oh, because he's leaving. Yeah. Okay.
But she gets mad because he straight up won't fuck her. He's like, no, you're my best friend's wife. My best friend's old lady. That's what he calls her, which I don't think that's
which I think they're trying to, like, keep it to the streets.
Yeah.
I think that's their way of,
that's their nod that he's from Queens?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, yeah, he called it an old lady.
Yeah.
So he doesn't fuck her, and then he goes back to the boat, which we just paused it at. Because Doug Coughlan is dead.
He's dead. And then right before he goes to the boat, Dan goes, he's about to do the worst thing you can do if you're a murder suspect. Because he walks on the boat. First off, the boat's not huge. He walks.
Yeah, but before the scene, I go, he's about to become a murder suspect.
Yeah, he's about to become a murder suspect. Because he climbs in the boat and he goes, Doug. And he already has looked back. Now, if you're looking anywhere in this boat, you can see Doug in a pool of blood on the table. There's a pool of blood. Turns out he took the glass from the bottle that Brian bought him.
He broke the bottle.
Broke the bottle and then like slit his own throat with the bottle. Which
very
is like
dramatic way to go out.
Oh, very Shakespearean. And but what Brian does is the weirdest thing. I guess he doesn't believe that it's blood or something. And he walks up and just plays with it with his fingers. Like
dips his hand in it like it's finger paint. Like he's a finger painter, and he just dips his fingers into it.
And then he freaks the fuck out.
Oh, man, it's great. So that's where we're at. We're almost done. We're almost
done. We're almost at the end.
Coughlin's dead.
Coughlan is dead. And, so we'll see in a bit. We're back, and we watched the rest of it. This is for the finale of the movie. I'm pretty sure his uncle wears the same outfit the entire movie. Just that tan sweater vest.
Yeah, he's just a
tie.
He's just a drunk.
So what happens is, I think this is a good movie because I think you might have turned me. I'll tell you because it kind of set the tone for so many plot points. Like it really.
There's a lot to this movie.
There's a lot to this movie, but it also like a lot of plot points from this movie are used in other movies. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
did this just take all of those? I think this originated a lot of them.
I think this originated a lot of them. That's what I'm saying. Because what happens is the showdown with the evil rich dad happens.
Yeah.
Because his buddy commits suicide, like we said.
Well, there's also the plot point of your friend screws you over. You have the opportunity to screw your friend over. You don't because you're a
better
good friend.
person. Yeah.
Because Coughlin's the devil.
Coughlin's the devil. And then Coughlin, he kills the devil in this. Maybe he killed the devil because
He freed him.
he freed. Now we're just writing our own show. He freed the devil. I was going to say because the better.
Can we just keep it at that?
Maybe his goodness is what killed the devil.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
he was
yeah,
a
yeah,
good
yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
And he killed the devil. But he set him free because he was miserable.
He set him free because he was miserable. Yeah.
Remember? You're looking at, as he says in his suicide note,
And he
a guy
brought-
like me, you either see yourself in the mirror, you grin, or you fade away. And I haven't had nothing to grin about in quite some time.
That's what he says. Yeah.
Brian, I am the devil.
Just so you know.
I am the
devil.
I am the incarnation of evil.
If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm the devil.
I'm the devil.
I can't do the accent as well as you can.
But yeah,
So
you do it with a lot of energy.
I do energy. So
Brian, I'm the devil. There, I said it. I am the devil.
does the audience not get it?
And Elizabeth, she's an angel.
She's an angel. And so then he gets a suicide note. Like, it's so crazy because the other thing is the wife, the one that tried to fuck him and then he didn't, sends Brian. She's like, Brian, Doug left this for you. And it's like, all right, this is like a piece of evidence. Like, this is, would he just get this in the mail?
It's 80s New York. There's too many deaths. They don't care. It's a rich guy
Too
on a
many
boat.
murders.
They go, yeah, whatever. We got a whole family of 7 burned in Bronx Parkway, Bronx Expressway.
We know this bar owner we don't give a shit about.
Yeah,
So
I came from Bed-Stuy. He's 48 murders.
So that flips a switch in Brian, and he literally goes right for.
Okay, we have to bring this up because this is my one real big problem with the movie. He just walks back into their old apartment after the
here's
funeral.
the thing. I think what it is, it's not him and Doug's apartment. It was always just his apartment. It was Brian's apartment the whole time, but him and Doug are just hanging out in there when they come up with that business.
What about when he lived with the rich lady?
I think he just would stay with her. I think
He
must
just
have
kept an apartment.
Immediately, what I thought was that he just had really good rent.
Because this is something that we need to talk about. Is when they talk about going to Jamaica to bartend, they go, you can make upwards of $300 a day.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot of money.
Not a lot of money.
I know bartenders that make that 10 years ago.
Right.
Granted, this is 27 years ago. But what is he making in the city? $100 a night? That ain't shit.
No, yeah, right, exactly. And then the bet was you bring me a $500 bottle. Like, you're still working in the city, but you bring me a $500. You have no job, so when you come for me to a job, you bring me a $500 bottle of whiskey or scotch.
Cognac.
Cognac. So it's like, that's a big portion of his income. Like, where's he getting this money from?
And you know you're going to slit your throat with it.
Yeah, it's almost poetic justice.
You know you're going to do the deed.
So he a switch. There's a switch that's flipped, and then he's like, "Fuck it, I love this girl. I'm going for it." So he gets into the building, sneaks by the doorman.
And that's the final.
That's the final scene.
Well, the second to last scene. It sets up him being like, "I love you," and we're leaving. But really, again, I'm on the dad's side. I'm like, this man's unstable. This man cannot provide a family for you.
Yeah, he didn't make his case to the dad ever. Like he
No,
never was like, "Can we just talk about this?"
The part that made me laugh was they're in the elevator. It's about to close, and the dad goes, "You're on your own now." Saying that, and
Yeah.
then Tom Cruise goes, "That's the way I like it." And I wanted it to come back to the dad and go, "I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to my daughter." That would have made
the
this
best.
the best movie of all time if he would have gone, "I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to
I was
my
talking-
daughter."
Yeah, I don't give a shit about you. I don't want you near me.
Brian,
You're a
shut
scumbag.
up. I'm
Yeah.
talking to Jordan. Shut up, Brian.
Brian, stop it.
Stop it, Brian. You're disruptive.
Well, there's also a part when it's also like, here's the thing. I worked as a doorman for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I would not have, the doorman chases him up into the penthouse.
Yes. And
wouldn't
then
have
fights
done-
him.
I was making like $13 an hour. I would
Yeah.
not have done that.
You were like,
And
"They're their problem now."
And then fights him. I never would have fought anybody for a tenant ever.
You would have called the cops,
I would
right?
have called the cops. And
Yeah.
even that, I would have been like, call the cops. Like, you don't care.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Do you know what I mean?
Because that guy was up there fighting.
He was like a henchman for the rich guy.
Yeah. He's like, I told you not to allow him back in this
He's
house.
like, don't let them leave. And the doorman's like, okay. And he jumps on top of the girl.
Grabs the pregnant woman.
Grabs the pregnant woman, and she goes, watch out, she's pregnant. And then Brian, he gets punched by Brian, and then Brian goes and does his moves again, where he punches the doorman.
Yeah, he does his fucking taken moves.
And then they rush back on the elevator, and that's when it says, you can't come back. Or you're on your own. And he goes, that's the way that I want it. And then the dad goes, I wasn't talking to you, you scumbag. And then they go down. No, he doesn't say it.
I was like, I was like, did I miss that? I wanted him to say that.
And then the very final scene is they're in Brian's new bar, Flanagan's Cocktails and Dreams. I think that's maybe, to come full circle, maybe that's why I didn't like this movie ever. Because
that's what it ends with?
Well, no, Cocktails and Dreams is the name of a bar. I think is the worst name for a bar. Why can't it just be called Flanagan's? Why can't it just be called Flanagan's? Why is it Cocktails and Dreams? I guess because it fits in with his dream the whole time is to own his own business or to have a business.
No, but that's what, remember Coughlin put it down. He goes, Cocktails and Dreams. And he's like, that's actually a good idea.
You know what I realized you've been doing this entire time? You're Robin Leach the high entire. Is that who it is?
What does he do when he's not impregnating women in Jamaica? He's running off with rich old women. I'm talking about Brian Flanagan.
He's going to art openings.
He's fighting artists with rich girlfriends. It's the lifestyles of the alcoholic and imbalanced. Welcome to the lifestyles of alcoholics and imbalanced.
So that's pretty much it. Let's take a status here. Where are you
good
at?
Movie. I defended it.
All right, so here's the thing. You flip-flopped a lot during. As we're watching it, you were like, when we first started, you were
But I
like...
said this on the podcast.
I know you did.
I'm the Brian Flanagan, and the movie is Elizabeth Shue.
You're defending the Elizabeth Shue. That is this movie.
I'm back now. I'm going to be a good dad.
In the
Tell me it's
beginning
twins.
of this movie, you were like, fuck this movie.
When we were talking about it in the studio, I was like, man, you might have a lot of points. I didn't see it. I was just rushed. There was a lot going on. I should have done the proper research for this podcast, but then that's why you heard it earlier in the episode. We were like, well, let's just go to your house and watch the movie.
Yeah.
And now that I've watched it, I feel completely comfortable defending it. There's a lot of great parts. It moves well.
It does move well. I'm telling you.
It's a timed piece. We know the writer's son.
We do know the writer's son. He's a comic. This guy, Charles Gould, a very funny comic.
Very funny comic.
And it's
and
funny.
in no way are we taking this out. It's not we're just reviewing a movie. We learned this after we'd already started this podcast.
Yes.
So I liked it. I defended it. It's hilarious in a way of if you're overcritical, it can be hilarious.
I think
Doug Coughlin's the devil.
I think the only thing you can say is it doesn't hold up to time. But that's most movies. You can't watch most movies.
And when we write Coughlin's 2, when we write Cocktails 2, Flanagan's Law.
Flanagan's Law, yeah.
About the twins.
It's about the twins.
Owning the bar.
They own the bar.
A guy and a girl.
And then it's in jeopardy of being closed.
Dude, I guarantee we could get Elizabeth Shue to make a cameo.
Yeah, I think we could. And the bar, what it is the bar closes down.
Can we write Cocktails 2? Can this happen? Can we really do that?
Of course we can.
Let's do it.
I would be shocked if nobody ever did it before.
Let's write a spec script.
Do you want to write a spec script? Cocktail 2?
Called Flanagan's Law.
What the twins have to do?
And about how Carrie, Coughlin's wife, buys the building out and is going to shut down Flanagan's Cocktails and Dreams. And the twins have to save it.
Yes!
Yeah, we could do this. Hey, we could do this. Brian Flannery, dead of cirrhosis at 48, just like my dad. A true alcoholic.
Brian
write
Flannery.
Cocktails 2.
Brian Flanagan
is dead. So that way we don't have to get Tom Cruise to show up.
Right.
Because that costs too much.
We could probably get that actress from Roadhouse, the one from the...
Yes. And we can get Elizabeth Shue.
So, yeah.
I'll play the son. We'll find it.
You'll play the son.
Yeah. You'll direct. This is going to be great.
I love... My favorite part about this is you did not put me on camera in this situation.
Well, I mean, are you going to play the son?
No, I'm not going to play the son. But
maybe we play the twins.
What?
Maybe we're the twins.
No, no, then it would just become twins too, and I'd be the Danny DeVito character.
And then it would be, I go, Sean, you're forgetting the third rule of the Flanagan's Law in this situation.
You know, it'd be great to make it like an Assassin's Creed kind of thing, but it's called Flanagan's Law, and they find this book, it's just this old Talmud of like Flanagan's Law, and they have to live by Flanagan's Law.
I want to mash up twins and contest. You're forgetting the third rule in a crisis situation. Not now, Jules. You're forgetting Flanagan's Law. The dead stay buried. And you go, oh, yeah. The dead stay buried. And then I hit a whole thing of dirt onto a guy at the end, like the end of Twins.
Oh, my God. Well, this has been a blast, dude. Thank you.
This is a lot of fun. I want to do this again with another movie.
I know. I really do also. It's one of those things where I can't watch every movie with every person because it's so hard to get people. Well, it just so happens that we're friends, so it's like
it worked.
It's a comfortable situation. But I can't have like a random person. I'm like, hey, can you go to my house and watch a movie?
Yeah, no, you got to do it with your friends.
You got to do it with my friends.
This is a good inauguration episode.
It was great. Thank you for doing this, dude. And
I defended my movie.
You did it really well.
I left, but I came back.
I think you turned me. I still think it's like technically not a good movie, but it kind of is because there's good lines in it and everything. So thanks again, Dan, and. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Now go.
Now go. But let's do this. Let's do a plug real quick for you.
What am I plugging? When is this coming? Oh, listen to The Bonfire on Sirius XM, Comedy Central Radio, Series 95, and dansoder.com. I'm going to be...
Watch Billions, second season.
Billions on Showtime's coming out February 19th, I believe. Might be the 17th. I'm bad with dates. It's a Sunday, and it's a great show. The season's going to be fucking awesome. It's February 19th.
Awesome.
On Showtime.
I also, with me, I'm at Shawnee Time on Twitter. I have a bunch of dates on my website, SeanDonnellyComedy.com. And also with this podcast, it's called Defend Your Movie. This is going to be the first episode out, but if you like the podcast, please rate and review and tell your friends about this podcast and message me on Twitter or on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as well. We're going to have a Facebook group for the podcast, which will have the trailer for Cocktail as well as any other kind of info that I could find about the movie. So yeah, thank you so much, Dan. And this is the end of we've already watched it at this point. So
it was great.
It was great. Yeah, it was great.
Dude, what a fun thing to do. What a great podcast.
Yeah.
Big ups to Elizabeth Shue for being everyone's dream girl.
Oh, my God.
Real quick shout out to the dad for offering money. Bing, bang, boom. You know what I mean? That's good business. Shout out to Tom Cruise. Looking excellent, bro.
Excellent, bro.
Yo, bro, you're looking so bad.
You just become a Guido out of nowhere.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, but thanks for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
Dude, of course. It was fucking a lot of fun.
Awesome. I'll talk to you.
There's a time